Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. In today's Call of Duty news update, we're getting a trailer for Shattered Vale at last tomorrow, and we maybe are not getting an intro cutscene at all for the map, maybe, but more on that in a second. And Call of Duty's asking me, how's the womb going, Milo? Yeah. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get started. To begin with, Call of Duty today, at long last, after several weeks of basically us waiting around for more teasers for Shattered Vale, they've finally given us confirmation through the COD pod that tomorrow we are getting a blog post for Black Ops 6's next Zombies update, and we're getting a trailer for it. They've also confirmed that Shattered Vale is going to be a similar size to Citadel, so they say it's going to be larger than Liberty Falls and the Tomb, which I think is good news. But I also got a tweet about this. Let me see if I can find it here. Here we go. So I tweeted in response to this news saying, okay, we're getting a trailer tomorrow. And also, by the way, the map is dropping April 2nd, not April 3rd. Verdansk is the 3rd. The Zombies map is the 2nd. And I'm making a news video, which is what I'm doing right now. And I'm withholding judgment until I see what the map looks like in the trailer, which is also what I'm doing right now. But Leviticus Fingal responded here and said, them saying that the map is more on the size of Citadel instead of the Tomb has me a lot less worried, and having double tap in a new fully sized round-based map makes me happy, even if we don't get an intro cutscene. And my response was to say, I actually feel like the physical size of maps is less and less an indicator of what their actual kind of depth is going to be compared to what it used to be like in the past. Like the Tomb, for instance, in terms of physical map size, doesn't feel especially small to me. It's on the smaller side of maps, maybe. But then at the same time, I mean, is it really? It's got a reasonable amount of space, but in terms of overall replayability for the community, it was very low, I think, compared to the previous maps in Black Ops 6. I think people seemed to be replaying Citadel for a lot longer than they were replaying the Tomb. At least that was the impression that I had just from chatting with you guys. And certainly that was my experience as well. I replayed the Tomb a lot less than I replayed Citadel. But I don't think that was down to map size. I think that was down to map design, map depth, like I said a moment ago, the side quests that were in the map, the secrets, the mysteries, the way that they progressed the story, things like that, just the reasons to keep me coming back. And that doesn't completely correlate anymore with just the size of the space itself. And Mr. Fingal here then responded and said, that's definitely true as well. I'm just hoping they truly understood the financial power of wide Richtofen and went all out on the map. I need at least one oiled up Easter egg for this to be above a 7 out of 10. And honestly, I agree. So let me know if you think that a larger map means a map that you'll replay more, or if there are other things they need to do with this map to make it replayable for us all. I think that the story right now is in a bit of a rough spot. It seems like COD Zombies Twitter, that kind of corner of Twitter, have kind of started to not hate on the story this year, but they've started to recognize the fact that it leaves some stuff to be desired over the last couple of weeks and months, seeing as it hasn't really felt like it's meaningfully progressed in a while. And so I'm very curious if they're going to take that in their stride and they're going to kind of come out guns blazing with this new mansion map, or if it's just going to sort of feel like another step in a direction that we already knew which direction we were stepping in when we finished up Liberty Falls. So they've got big boots to fill there. They've got big kind of changes that need to be made, or big aspirations for them to meet, I suppose, from the Zombies community side. But not only that, their actual comms strategy, I think, has been a little weird as well. And that brings me to this next tweet here, where I got asked how the womb is going. So to be absolutely clear, I love that they tweeted this. I think that this is hilarious. The responses are all like, that's crazy. Call of Duty UK, I don't know who you are, but keep doing what you're doing. This sort of stuff is absolutely insanely positive. I know it sounds goofy, but the fact that Call of Duty UK, not even the main account, is tweeting out memes like this, based on that one meme that's gone viral recently, and getting 79k likes, that's big. That is a big deal. And I feel like I've noticed a change to the COD UK socials recently, where they've started doing this sort of thing a bit more, and it is really positive. It's also wild as well, because over the past 2.5 months, Bungie, who make Destiny, have interacted with me as a creator more than Treyarch have done over the last 18 months, which is insane to say. Like, I think I was the most viewed Zombies creator on the internet in Q4 last year. We got a crazy number of views in all the Black Ops 6 content. I got interacted with by the Call of Duty kind of machine, the Twitter accounts, etc., like twice. something like that. Whereas I've already been in This Week in Destiny blog post. I've had devs come into my stream and gift me subs. I've had accounts tweeting at me saying, I'm so glad you're in the community now. Like, I've had a vast number of people on the Bungie side of things reaching out and getting involved. Call of Duty never does it. It's just never been interactive like that. And so even something as stupid as this shows that not only are they interacting with people that respond to their goofiness, but they're doing it in a personal way, because this is a response to the fact that I was saying to them like 2 months ago, I'm really hoping the tomb is the womb. Like, I was tweeting that kind of crazy stuff out, and they're acknowledging it, it's just really positive. It's a step, a small step, but a step towards a little bit of community involvement in a way that I feel like has been sorely lacking for Black Ops 6. And also that now that I've been experimenting a bit with Destiny content, I've seen how amazingly greener the grass is elsewhere. And I'm like, damn, why doesn't Treyarch do any of this stuff? And this is a step in the right direction towards fixing that. So I want to be positive about it and give it a little round of applause. Obviously, it's sort of nice that they addressed me in it because I'm sort of talking to them here. But this isn't even the kind of crux of it all. It really comes down to things like this. It's the fact that their social strategy is being a little bit more loose. And I love it. I really want to give them thumbs up for that. And it's funny because that comes at a time where other game studios are kind of doing a similar thing. So Grums, who's an absolute wet wipe, like honestly, just not worth paying any attention to, tweeted some stuff out about Hassan, I guess, and Assassin's Creed and stuff like that. And of course, Elon Musk jumps in to say Hassan's a fraud. Sellout would be more accurate. Objectively, he's promoting a terrible game just for the money. And then Assassin's Creed responds saying, is that what the guy playing your Path of Exile 2 account told you? Which is so funny. And the proof is in the pudding here. It's got 600,000 likes. It's insane. I've never seen a game ratio Elon like this before. And it's even funnier because like I've seen responses to this tweet being like, oh my God, they're botting likes. And it's like, hold on. You're not making a good case for Elon either way here. Either 600,000 people thought that this was good enough to like and absolutely outratio Elon Musk, or Elon has done such a bad job removing bots from Twitter, which he promised to do, that they're able to bot this up to 600k. Like, it's a lose-lose. And then Grums jumps back in and tries to hit back with the fact that Ubisoft hasn't had a great track record recently. And then they just respond saying, okay, at least our game is out. Like, I thought this was so funny, to be honest. Like, regardless of what your opinion are of Ubisoft themselves and the new Assassin's Creed, which we reviewed favorably, we thought that the game was actually pretty decent. I just think that this is a funny turn of events on social media. So Call of Duty UK admin, keep cooking, and Assassin's Creed admin, keep cooking. I'm enjoying it. Now then, the fact that we're getting a blog post tomorrow and roadmap tomorrow is kind of cool, but one thing that I do think is a very unfortunate point for the marketing of this new Shattered Veil map is the fact that we have no intro cutscene, right? And I've been tweeting about this over the last few days because I've been convinced that we were going to be getting one this time around, because this is a really pivotal, important map, like I said, for the progression of the story, etc. And an intro cutscene, it's essential. Like, it's just essential. It's such an integral part of the hype building. Granted, if it's got an intro cutscene when the map comes out and they're just not showing it in advance, okay, fair enough. But what else are they going to do in lieu of that, right? Like, what are they doing to fill the gap marketing-wise? And I want to be clear, they put out these teasers, which was nice. And again, I want to be positive about this because compared to just showing the interior of the map in a load of screenshots in the blog post only, this is better, right? It's in canon as opposed to exposition written by a developer that is authoritative about the narrative, which I detest. I really don't like it, and I've commented that in the past. So it's an improvement to go this route. That is a really good thing. And this is a fairly interesting teaser because, I mean, it says Mama, Papa, and me, but this is a scene of the kid dying, right? Like being on fire. So why does the kid know that they're gonna be on fire in the future? Are they having a premonition? Or was this even created by the kid at all? Is this like Richtofen drawing this in some kind of weird fever dream where he thinks he's his own child? Or is this a dark ether entity who is posing as his child and maybe doing stuff to try and haunt him? Who knows? Like, there's questions around here. I mean, even the sun is green. That's a little strange. Something is very off about this, right? And they even made Edwide Richtofen canon. Like, he's fairly wide in this drawing. So lots to like here, but it's not something that is going to get the masses excited about a map releasing, right? Like, if you think about how a mega viral the idea of Citadel was when they first teased it and they gave us that screenshot that kind of looked like DE, right? That went huge. Like, I had social media posts, I had shorts and things like that were getting millions of views just off the fact alone that people were like, oh, there might be some small thematic links to Der Eisendrache here. Whereas with Shattered Veil, I don't yet feel like they've done anything whatsoever across all of these teasers to actually bring in normies and make them excited about the zombies map. I don't think they've done anything at all. And so the question then, I guess, is, let's be constructive. What could they do? Number one is a trailer, right? Absolutely number one is a trailer. And we're getting that tomorrow, so we'll see whether it's a bombastic, hype-filled, epic trailer that really brings the masses on board. Let's hope so. If it's a minute and 14 seconds long, I'm going to be really disappointed. I'm just going to be disappointed. It's not about showing too much early, right? Because we know that the blog post, which the normies definitely will not be reading, will have more than a minute 14 of content in it. And it's going to show us screenshots of all the spaces and blah, blah, blah. So we know that they're not trying to just tactically not show it all too much early. That's not what's happening here. But instead, if they're doing a minute 14 trailer, they're just phoning it in, right? Like, that's just what it's going to feel like, at least, because there isn't a surrounding structure of marketing here to really make us excited and get us hyped. And I fear that this is sort of turning into the blueprint for Black Ops 6, which is that we started off this year with an insane zombies month. You remember that month of marketing we got where it was just zombies like every day? It was crazy. It was awesome. And it really got people excited for the game and for the mode, right? And then all of the post-launch stuff gradually, step by step, has just been a little bit more generic and a little bit less enticing for a broader audience. Like, it doesn't really feel like there's a lot of effort going in to pulling people back into zombies at this point. And I have to question why that's the case. Like, it's a really solid game. It's a really, really solid game. And I just feel like there's some element of detachment from the devs or from the marketing team or from Activision maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it is that feels like it's the blocker and the barricade between bringing that really awesome game to the masses continuously through the year. But whatever it is, it feels like it's there. And it's a shame because, I mean, I'm sure the devs are working absolutely tirelessly to try and make this mansion map as amazing as possible. But if nobody's there to see it, then does that hard work matter? Do you know what I mean? And granted, maybe they're just working on Black Ops 7, but if that's the case, we're just falling into the same trap we fall into every single time, which is that the current game's post-launch support flounders because the team end up being crunched on 15 other projects, which is not good. It's not good for the devs, it's not good for the community, it's not good for sales, it's not good for anybody. So yeah, I'm just in a bit of a state of a little confusion, I would say, about all of this. But like I said in my other tweet that I've maybe still got open somewhere here, we're going to get onto that in a second. It was here somewhere. I'm going to basically withhold judgment until I see the trailer, and that's when we'll properly analyze stuff and talk about what people's kind of expectations are going into the map. So, another thing that's quite interesting is that PlayStation has formed a new studio called Dark Outlaw Games with Call of Duty Zombies lead Jason Blundell. This one's mixed, right? Because on the one hand, Jason Blundell did develop some of the greatest zombies experiences of all time. And my former friendship with him was something that I really thought was awesome at the time. I thought that the guy had a lot of really cool ideas, and I loved seeing those come to life in COD Zombies. However, he then did make Deviation Games, which raised something along the lines of, I don't know what it was, like tens of millions of dollars, and then it went nowhere? It seemed to just sort of fall apart. And so it's hard to know whether that was because of Jason in any capacity, or if that was somebody else in the development team. I mean, Jason just left, right? So it might have been him, but then they still didn't really succeed after he'd gone. So it's sort of impossible to know, but I think it's fair to say that Jason's track record since he was demoted from studio head and then kind of managed out of Call of Duty has been a little spotty, right? So I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes peeled for what this studio has to offer. But at the same time, I'm keeping my expectations really in check. I'm not going to be visualizing that they're going to be making the next The Last of Us or something, because at the end of the day, game development is very difficult, and who knows, with a new studio, especially with how difficult the industry is right now to navigate, who knows what the kind of output will be. Fingers crossed it's not another Concord situation, but it's just going to have to be a wait-and-see scenario. So best of luck, Jason. Absolutely, to be clear, I will be waiting, but it won't be with bated breath. Let's put it that way, because I think that raising expectations uncritically, blindly, arbitrarily here is a recipe for upset. So I'm just going to keep my expectations nice and low, but I would love for them to make an amazing game. That would be great. Now, speaking of devs moving around, this was a really interesting post from Danny, and I believe this was sort of via Stanley557. So DICE has hired the guy who was partly responsible for the COD Zombies timeline. So there's this guy called Joseph Purlewski, and he is the guy that was the lore keeper at Treyarch. So there was Jason and Craig, this is like several years ago now, and then the third person in the storyline writing dynamic was Joseph here, and he was the guy that was responsible for the timeline, right? Making sure that the timeline made sense, that it kind of correlated all the information correctly, etc. And he's left. He's gone. And he's now working at DICE, who are making a new Battlefield game this year. And I mean, you can see that his writing credits are really quite extensive. So he's got a lot of stuff that he did in Cold War. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't just the old stuff. And I have to wonder, does losing talent like this mean that the Treyarch team is going to be kind of floundering a little bit for having those lore keepers who do know all the old context of the COD Zombies story? And then will they find it more difficult, for example, when they're bringing Primus back, to honor Primus in the right way? Like, I'm not saying by any means that the folks in charge of keeping track of the lore that are still there are going to do a bad job or anything along those lines, but I'm sure that when the person that wrote the timeline is gone, that's gotta be annoying, right? Even just to be able to lean across the desk and ask him a question, but now you can't, kind of thing. So fingers crossed they've got some good plans in place to fill this gap. But yeah, he's working on Battlefield now. So that's it for today's No Nonsense News. I've got a video coming up later this week about talented people, which if you are a creative, I'm gonna really need you to watch and respond to. I'm sort of doing some talent scouting right now, for reasons unknown. I will explain some other time, but I will be posting that video fairly soon, so keep an eye out for it. And the plan essentially over the next couple of weeks is going to be that we're going to do the Zombies map DLC next week, and we'll be making no-nonsense guides and doing all that sort of stuff as normal. We'll do our coverage, and then I'll shortly after be doing the Last Wish Destiny raid as a blind solve for the first time ever, and we'll then be doing a bunch more Destiny bits and pieces and some other stuff as well. I'm doing a lot of sort of research right now for some other projects, so there's a lot of cool stuff in the works, but yeah, Zombies content will be normal for the DLC, because there'll be a new map out, so there'll actually be some new stuff to do. And if they then say, okay, the next Zombies update is just going to be another corporate tie-over with Transformers or something, then once again, I will not be covering Cranked Transformers Edition. Like, I just don't want to support those game modes right now. But we'll see. Maybe they'll surprise us with a game mode that's not a corporate thing, or who knows. Either way, normal Zombies content will resume when the map is out, and it will resume tomorrow when we get a trailer. So, hope you guys have all been well. I know it's been a pretty quiet month while I've been waiting for some interesting Zombies stuff to talk about. It's just not been really a very busy time on the Zombies news front. So hopefully you've been doing okay, and I'll see you tomorrow for the trailer. Okay? Bye for now.